Hello ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to show you how to braid your hair because it's something that's actually a lot easier than it looks, but it does look intimidating. Besides, the whole reason why I grew out my hair in the first place was so that I could braid it, and I thought I'd share with you how I got into that. So let's start with the hair. Obviously, the longer your hair is, the easier it is to braid up until a point. Because if your hair is short, you really have to have a good grip on everything and make sure nothing falls out. But if your hair is long enough, it's a lot easier to hold. Also, I think longer, ropey looking braids just look better, which again is why I grew out my hair in the first place. And then a thing I'm sure you've heard a lot if you've been looking into how to braid your hair is that a day-old hair is better than freshly washed hair. You can of course braid your hair if you just washed and dried it. Your braid is just gonna last longer the less clean your hair is because there's oils and stuff in your hair now that's gonna help it all keep itself together. But if you just washed it, it's all smooth and silky and just slides right out. But honestly, all that means to me is that if I don't feel like washing my hair for another day, I can just stick my hair in a braid tomorrow and then wash it. Also, if you braid your hair, it leaves funky waves all over your hair, and I'm not crazy about wearing my hair down after that. So if I braid my hair right after washing it, I'm gonna keep braiding it until I wash it again. And I've also started exploiting that fact by sleeping with my hair in a braid so that I wake up with heatless waves. But let's get to the basics of how to braid your hair. I'm going to show you with this big section right here so that you can actually see what I'm doing. But because my hair is so dark, I'm actually going to go put on a lighter top so you can see it against the background of my shirt. So just hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, that's better. Now you can actually see my hair. Now your normal hair braid is a 3-strand braid. So you're going to split your hair into 3 sections. And to do that, I usually just bring my hair together, take my 2 fingers, push them straight through, and then I have 1, 2, and 3 sections. And if you felt it's a little uneven, like this one's a little bit too thin, just put them together, move your fingers slightly further away from that side, push them through again, and then you can get your pieces. You can also pass hair from one strand to the other before you start braiding to make sure it's even. But let's talk about how you actually hold your hair. So you stab your fingers through your hair. You're going to take your opposite hand and take the piece closest to you and hold it in your fist. So you're going to have your 3 fingers at the base clenched around your hair, and then you have these 2 free to move around. And you're going to use them to pick up the middle piece, and then you're free to rearrange your other hand around the 3rd piece. Again, 3 fingers around it, these 2 free to move around, so you can pass around the middle piece. So you're going to start on one side, take the piece on the outside, lift your middle finger, cross it over and place it under your middle finger so it grips that strand. And then you take the hair between your forefinger and your thumb into this fist. Just again, you're going to lift your middle finger, put the hair under your middle finger and curl it around it so you're holding that section. Take the piece from between your thumb and forefinger into your fist, and then you got a grip on all 3 strands. You're then going to take these 2 free fingers that you always have. You're going to pick up the piece that's now in the middle and then release with your middle finger so that you only have 1 strand on this side. And then you're going to repeat the process. You're going to lift your middle finger, put the strand on the other side under your middle finger and grip it. Take a hold of the piece between your thumb and forefinger. Move the piece that's now in the middle from under your middle finger to under your pointer finger and your thumb. And then you again have this 3rd section free in this fist. And you're just going to keep doing that, passing the hair across between your fingers. It helps to every now and then just run your hands down to make sure the strands are separated and not tangling at the bottom. That's why when I have the strand here, instead of just letting go, I put it over and then drag my hand to the end. You can also just drag your hand all the way down before you even pass the piece over. And then you just keep going all the way to the bottom, and then you put in an elastic. And that's how you get your typical Goldilocks braid. Now, I'm not sure if you can see it on my hair, but the strands are pointing downwards. They all have a downwards angle. But if you were to take this braid and literally just twist it upside down, like look at the back, it looks like all the strands are pointing upwards. Which means if you do this normal braid upside down, it's gonna have a bit of a different look. So let's do that on the other side. I'm just again gonna take 2 fingers, push them through to separate my hair into 3 strands, take it into my fist, and then between my thumb and forefinger, and then take it into my other fist. And then we're good to go the way we were at the beginning. But this time, instead of passing the hair over to your middle finger, you want to take your hair under. So instead of taking the outside piece and putting it in the middle, you're going to take the middle piece and put it on the outside, which is effectively the same thing. So you're going to lift your middle finger, take the middle piece to the one side, and then underneath pass the outside piece between your thumb and forefinger. And then you can just readjust your hand here so you have a fist. You pass along that middle piece then to between your thumb and forefinger. You lift your middle finger underneath it so that the piece of hair is stuck between your forefinger and middle finger. And then between your middle finger and thumb, you clasp the piece on the outside. And then you just pass it over, which I'll admit is a little bit more complex. So let me just explain that again. You have one piece in your fist. You have the middle piece between your thumb and forefinger, and the third piece in your fist. So you're going to hold the piece between your thumb and forefinger, extend your middle finger underneath so that you can pass the piece through underneath, grab it with your thumb and forefinger, readjust your hand, and then do it again. Grab the hair between your middle finger and forefinger, pass a piece underneath to between your thumb and forefinger, readjust your hand. And then you just keep going all the way to the bottom. And now I have two braids, which are basically the same thing, but they look a little different. Here the hair points up and here the hair points down, which doesn't look like it makes a big difference now, but it does when you're doing it in a French braid style, which I'll show you in a second. But first I want to show you how you puff out your braids. You're going to hold your braid near where you're working on it, then you're going to take a single loop and pull at it. And it pulls it a little loose from the braid, so it'll be puffed out more than the rest. A good way to pull is to grip it and to pull, and then let your fingers slide out so that you're gripping less and less hair the more you're pulling. So that the hair closer to the outside is pulled more than the hair on the inside. That's how you get the actual strand itself to look thicker. Then you do the exact same thing on the other side, and then you make your whole braid look bigger and like you have a lot more hair without putting in hair extensions. Don't try and get it super puffy in the first run, rather go over it 1 or 2 times so that you can control the amount you are puffing it out. And gradually it'll get thicker and thicker, and you can stop when you're happy with what it looks like. And as you can see, that made quite a difference in how thick the braid looks. The braid's still going to be pretty flat, but it's going to look a lot wider. Of course your hair has to be brushed out while you're braiding it, so just grab a brush if it's not. Otherwise, you're going to have a really bad time pulling on your own hair while you're trying to braid. But now I'm going to show you how to French braid, which is basically what I just showed you, but instead of all the hair being loose, you're picking up hair as you go along. Which sounds really confusing, but again, it's easier than it looks. For this, I'm going to start here at the front, but you can start anywhere in your hair you want to, and you can go any direction you want to. But I'm just going to pick up a piece of hair and section it from the rest. And then I'm going to take my 2 fingers like a brush and pull it through it to separate it into 3 pieces. Let's bring the camera up so that I don't have to slouch it down. So I'm going to take my 2 fingers like a little comb and split it into 3 sections. I'm going to take the one side into my fist. I'm going to take the middle one between my thumb and forefinger, and this other piece you can hold however you want to for now. But you're going to pass it to between your middle finger and your forefinger. Now you're holding all 3 strands in one hand. You're going to take the piece that's between your thumb and forefinger into this fist. Then you're going to hold the piece that's between your middle finger and forefinger. Now you're free to pass this piece over to under your middle finger. Then you pick up the outer piece in your fist again. Everything is still simple here. Then you pick up the middle piece between your thumb and forefinger. And again, pass this piece to under your middle finger. But before you continue, you're now going to pick up another section of hair. Just go from the side of your head towards your braid. Pick that piece up and slide it in under your middle finger too, because you're now adding that hair to that strand. That's how you get the braid to look like it's incorporated in your hair. You're then taking the piece between your thumb and forefinger into the fist of your hand. You're then passing this new thick piece between your pointer finger and middle finger to your pointer finger and thumb. And then again under your middle finger, the piece on the outside. And you're going to pick up another section of hair and add it under there. And then rinse and repeat every time. To get this nice and smooth, you want to smooth out the hair as you add it to the new section. Otherwise you're going to end up with bubbles, and it also helps to pull it nice and tight. I'm just going to do a quick braid down this side to show you what it looks like when you do this all the way to the end. You can pull your braid in any direction you want it to go in. You can make it straight, you can make it curvy. It depends on where you pick up hair. If you want your braid to go more to one side, when you're picking up a new section, stop before you reach your braid and then add the hair there and pull it nice and tight so that the braid pulls in that direction, because the braid's gonna go in the direction of the hair you're pulling it towards. When you're reaching the end where you're about to lift off your head, you want to pick up the hair in such a way that your 3 strands are about the same thickness. Just feel in your hand how thick they are and which piece needs more hair than the other when you're picking up more hair. But also make sure all your hair is incorporated by the time you reach the nape of your neck. And then you can bring your braid to the front and just braid it all the way to the bottom. And as you can see, because this is the top of the braid, the top is now underneath when you see this part. So this part's gonna look like it's angling up. I'm gonna take the sweater off because you've seen what you've had to see and it is warm in here. But now let's go on to the next piece. I'm not gonna do the same thing but upside down. As you'll see when I've braided this piece, on this side where the normal way, it looks like the braid is within my hair and then it comes out at the bottom. But on this side, it's gonna look like you stuck a braid on top of my head because you can see the whole braid. But it's literally this thing just upside down. Instead of passing the hair over, you're passing the hair under. So again, I'm gonna pick up a little piece here at the top. And the reason I'm picking it up here is because I want the braid to start here. I want it to go all the way back to here. So I'm kind of angling it in the way I want it to go. And I'm again just gonna split it into 3 pieces. Now here's where the difference comes in. The piece on the outside I'm gonna take between my fist. The piece in the middle is gonna go under my middle finger, and then the piece that's left is gonna go between my thumb and my forefinger. I'm then taking the piece under my middle finger into my fist. I'm passing the piece between my thumb and forefinger to my middle finger, and then the piece that's left is gonna go between my thumb and forefinger. What's under my middle finger is gonna go to my fist. What's between my thumb and forefinger is under my middle finger, and what's in my fist is going to my thumb. And then same thing again to the fist, to the middle finger, to the thumb. And then I'm gonna pick up a piece of hair and add it to under my thumb as well. Now you really need to smooth this out. It's less forgiving if you have bubbles. So make sure you pull it nice and tight when you tuck it underneath. This is also why it helps to have your hair brushed out. But then you just keep doing the same thing all the way to the end. So here I just finished braiding the one side, doing the exact same thing all the way down as I did on the other side, but this time when I pick up hair I put it in underneath instead of over top. Now at the end, this is what the normal one looks like, which is what you call a French braid, and then this is what the upside down one looks like, which you call a Dutch braid. And also because you can see the segments of your braid in this version, you can now puff at them to make your braid look thicker and fuller. And you can mess around with braids a lot. It's fun to incorporate them into hairstyles, especially half up, half down hairstyles. There's one I like to do where you do a French braid, but you only pick up hair on one side and not the other side. So you skip adding hair to every other strand, and then you end up with this braid that's half tied down and half loose, with this nice little ridge where everything else hangs down underneath. Or you can do a traditional French braid all the way from the front of your hair back down to the bottom, or you can stop halfway, just braid the rest off of your head, and then have a half up, half down hairdo that's gonna keep your hair down if you're having a bad hair day. The moral of the story is there's a lot of different things you can do when braiding your hair, and the more you practice it, the better it's gonna look and the quicker you're gonna be able to put them together. Honestly, at this point when I'm doing 2 boxer braids, doing it the right way up or upside down feels exactly the same. So it's happened a few times that I braided one way on the one side and the other way on the other side accidentally, because it just feels the same. It becomes like muscle memory. Not only is it a skill that you never really unlearn, it's very useful when you need it. If you need your hair to be out the way, if your hair is uncontrollable on a bad hair day, you have more options than just a ponytail and a bun. You can even put cute braids in a bun. But then that is it for today. I should definitely go wash my hair. It is a day or so overdue, which made it perfect for braiding, but it looks like this now. I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to go down and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you want to see me again next week. But then that is it for today, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye! On this side, hold up.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you. The sneeze didn't want to take me.